Okay, good morning. So let's work through this question. So question 3 part A. A recipe uses 12 onions to make a half a litre of chutney. Okay, so what we're saying is that 12 is equal to 1.5. How much chutney can be made with 48 onions? Okay, so we know that 12 onions gives us 1.5 litres of chutney. Okay, so we can find out first of all how many will one onion give us. So in order to do that, we think about like how do we change this? So this 12 represents 12 onions. How do we change it to 1? We divide it by itself. We divide by 12. If we divide this side by 12, we have to divide this side by 12. So one onion then, so 1 will be equal to 1.5 divided by 12, which I get my calculator. So 1.5 divided by 12, 1.5 divided by 12, it's equal to 0.125 onions. So 0.125 onions. So what we want to find out is what will 48 onions give us. So if one onion gives us 0.45 litres, what will 48 onions give? So how do we change this 1 to 48? We multiply it by 48. So it'll be 1 multiplied by 48. So if we multiply this side by 48, we have to multiply this side by 48. Okay, so then 48 onions is going to be equal to 0.125. So 0.125 multiplied by 48, which is equal to 6. So it'll give 6 litres. So 48 onions will give 6 litres of chutney. Okay, so that's your answer to the first one. So 6 litres. So how much chutney can be made with 48 onions? 48 onions will give you 6 litres. So basically what you do is you say, so 12 onions, so 12 will give you 1.5 litres, so 12 is equal to 1.5. Then you change this to 1, so you find out what 1 onion will give you. So 1 onion will give you this. If 1 onion will give you that, this number of litres of chutney, then to change this to 48, you multiply by 48. If you multiply this side by 48, you have to multiply this side by 48. So 48 onions will give you 6 litres of chutney. So the next one, how many onions are needed for 4.5 litres of chutney? So again, it's the same thing, but we just do it the opposite way around. So we say 1.5 litres is equal to 12 onions. So 1.5 litres is equal to 12 onions. So you find out what 1 litre will give you. So how do we change the 1.5 to just 1? You divide it by itself. And if you divide this side by 1.5, you have to divide this side by 1.5. And so this 1.5 into 1.5 will be 1. So 1 litre will give us 12 divided by 1.5. So 12 divided by 1.5. So that's equal to 8. So 8 onions. Okay. So 1 litre. So in order to get 1 litre, you need 8 onions. In order to get 1.5 litres, you need 12 onions. So to get 1 litre, you need 8 onions. So what it's asking you to do is, how many onions are needed for 4.5 litres of chutney? So if 1 litre needs 8 onions, then so we'd have to multiply this by 4.5. So 1 multiplied by 4.5. And if I multiply this side by 4.5, I have to multiply the other side by 4.5. So 4.5 is 4.5 litres. So this will be equal to, so 4.5 litres is going to be equal to 8 multiplied by 4.5, which is, so 8 multiplied by 4.5, that's equal to 36. 36 onions. Okay, so we need to, in order, if we want to get 4.5 liters of chutney, we need to use 36 onions. So that's that one. Okay, so let me just make this small and move it out of the way. So I'm just going to shrink this down and just move it over here so I have space to work with the rest of the questions. So that's question, so that's part A. Okay, so part B then, write each list in order starting with the smallest. So we have, I'll just write out the list. So we have a half, we have a quarter, we have 2/5, we have 3/10, and we have 3/5. So the way that they are, we can't compare them, okay, because they have all different denominators. So what you want to do is like pick the biggest denominator, which is this one here, and then change them all to that denominator. So pick this one here and then change all the other ones so that they have a denominator of 10. So what you do, how do you change the denominator? Well, you multiply the number at the bottom by another, whatever number will give you, when you multiply it, will give you 10. And then whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do exactly the same to the top. So let's do that, okay? So if we take 1.5, so 1/2, so how do we change this to 10? We'd have to multiply it by 5. So we want to change, so we multiply the bottom 2 by, so we multiply that by 5. So if we multiply that by 5, it'll give us 10, but then we have to multiply the top by 5 as well. So that will give us, so that'll give us 5/10. So it's 5/10. And I just want to get rid of these here. So what we've done is we've just taken this fraction, we've multiplied the bottom by 5 to change it to 10, and multiplied the top by 5, and that changes it to 5. So we can compare these two. So we can compare this fraction and this fraction because they have the same denominator. Now we have to do the same with them all. So the next one then, this one here, so what do we have to do to it? So the bottom, how do we change it? Okay, actually let's think, is 10 going to be the best option? Because we're not going to be able to change the 4. So we actually might need to change it to 20. So let's change it to 20. Okay, we'll have to change them all to 20 because this 4 here is going to cause problems. So what we do is, so instead of doing it that way, because this number just won't work out with 10, so we want to change all the denominators to 20 so that we can compare them all. So what do we have to do to 2 to change it to 20? We have to multiply it by 10. So what do we have to do to the 1 then to change it to 20? We have to multiply the bottom by 10, then we have to multiply the top by 10. So that's going to be 10/20. 1/4, how do we change this 4 to 20? We multiply it by 5. So that will become 20. And then we have to multiply the top number by 5 as well. So that will become, so it's 5/20. So this one here, how do we change the bottom to 20? We multiply it by 4. That'll become 20, and then we multiply the top by 4, that'll become 8/20. Then we take this number here, so we have to multiply 10, we have to multiply it by 2, so that will give us 20, and then if we multiply the 10 by 2, we have to multiply the 3 by 2, and that will give us 6. This one here, we have to multiply the 5 by 4 to change it to 20, and then if we multiply the 5 by 4, we have to multiply the 3 by 4, and that will give us 12. So what does it ask us to do? Write each in order starting with the smallest. So what we can do now is, because these have the same denominator, okay, we can compare the numerators, the number at the top, and whichever one has the smallest number at the top is the smaller of the fractions. So if we have a look here, so we can see that 5/20 is the smallest. So we'd write this, so it's 5/20. So we've taken that one. So the next smallest is going to be the 6/20. Okay, the next one after that is going to be the 8/20. So 8/20. The next one after that is going to be 10/20. So 10/20, and then the last one is this one, which is going to be 12/20. Okay, so that goes from smallest so starting with the smallest, so and then it moves this way to largest. So that's how you do that question. So you arrange them from smallest. So we have. So what we're saying is it's going to be. So let's just actually move the fractions down then. Let's have a look here. So it's going to be. So 5. So it's going to be. If we're to move the original fraction, so it's going to be this one. Okay, then the next one is 6, so it's going to be this one. What's the next one? 8, so it's going to be this one. The next one then is 10, so it's going to be this one. And the next one then, the last one then is this one. So if you're to take the original fractions that we started off with, this is going to be the arrangement from smallest to largest, like so. So that's question B. And that's how you do that one. Okay, so let's move on and look at the next one. Just minimize this and move it out of the way. Just put this down here so that we can work on the other ones. Okay, so then we have these guys here. So 60. So we have 60%, 3 over 4, 1 over 2, 4 over 5, 0.65, and 2 over 3. Okay, so let's have a look at this one. So again, it's the same type of question as question B. What you're being asked to do is just to list these in order from smallest to largest. So looking at this, the easiest thing to do would be to just change everything into decimals, and then we can compare them. So if we take 60%, so what does 60% mean? It means 60 over 100. And if we want to change that to, so what that's going to, so if we take 60 and we divide it by 100, it's going to be equal to 0.6. 0.60. So that's 60 divided by 100. So in order to take a fraction and change it into a decimal, you divide the bottom into the top. So that's that one. So if we take 3 over 4, so we divide 3 by 4. So 3 divided by 4, that's equals 0.75. So 0.75. A half is 0.5. Just divide 2 into 1, 0.5. Then we have 4 divided by 5, which is going to be 4 divided by 5 equal to 0.8. So 0.8. And then we have 0.65. 0.65. And then we have 2 divided by 3. So 2 divided by 3. That's equal to 0. We just round it up to 0.67. 0.67. Now what we can do is we can actually compare these to each other. So we just box them in just so that they're separated. Okay, so if we have a look at this, so which one is the biggest? So the biggest one is going to be the number which has the highest value nearest to decimal. So if we have a look here, so this one here, so let's have a look. So this one here, okay, is going to have the biggest, it's the biggest one, okay? So we can take it, so 4.5 as a decimal is 0.8, so we can take this one, so this is going to be so or what, okay, So write each starting with the smallest. Okay, so starting with we need to start with the smallest first. So if we have a look here, so which number is the smallest? So 0.5 is the smallest. So we go with this one. Okay, so so we start with the smallest, we put that down here. So that's that one taken care of. So the next after 0.5, what's the next smallest? So you have 0.6 or 0.65 or 0.67. So 0.6 is going to be the next one. So 60%. So again, we'll just move this down here. So remember, we're going from smallest to largest. So the next one then up from 0.6 will be 0.65, which is this one here, 0.65. 0.65. Then you're going to have 2/3, which is 0.67, which is going to be this one here. The next one then is going to be 0.75, so we can see that's the next 0.75. What are we left with then? So we have 4/5, 0.8, which is this one here. Okay, so what we've done is we've arranged these in order from smallest to largest. And what we've done initially was we took all the fractions and we changed them to decimals. So that's B part 2. So we'll put that there. So B part 2. Okay, so let's get rid of this. So B part 2. So the next one then we're looking at is this question here, so question C. So which point divides the line in AK, so you're dividing it into these ratios. So what I might do, I might just make a bigger version of this line. Okay, so okay, so it's a bit bigger. It might be a bit easier to work with. Okay, so what we have to do, the first thing we have to do is, so if we take, let's say, which point divides the line AK in the ratio of 9:1? So what you're being asked to do is to figure out, like, how much of the line do you have to, like, where in the line do you stop in order to get the ratio of 9:1? So if we think about this, okay, so 9:1. So this means that we're splitting up. If we want to find out, like, what's the whole is going to be 10 parts. We just add 9 and 1 together. So the whole is equal to 10 parts. And then what we're saying here is we want to split it up into ratio 9:1. So we want to have 9/10 and 1/10. And we can see when we add the two of these together, we'll get is equal to 10/10. So basically, if we have a look at this, if we have a look at the line that we have here, we can see that it's split up into 10 parts. So we've 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so it's split up into 10 parts. So what it's asking us to do is, which point divides the line in the ratio of 9:1? So you could say, like, you could look at it from this point of view. So let's say, so like 9 parts would be, so this is part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9. So if you were to, let's say, draw a line here on this point J, what you have is you have it split up into 9:1. So you have, on this side of the line, you have the 9 parts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the line is split up into 9 parts here. If you draw a line here, or you sit on this point, this side is going to have 9 parts, and this side is going to have 1 part. So the answer to this then would be, which point divides the line AK into the ratio 9:1? If you draw a line, or the point J splits it up into this ratio 9:1. Okay, so the first one then is going to be J. Okay, so that's that one. Let's just get rid of the lines. Okay, so the second one then is 7:3. So if we think about 7:3, okay, bear with me now, I just need to find the pointer. There we go. So 7:3. So again, you'll notice that the whole is equal to 10 parts. Okay, so we add these 7 and 3 together, and then we have 7 out of 10 parts plus 3 out of 10 parts, which is equal to 10 out of 10 parts. So what we're saying is, how can we split up this so that, where can we put a point on this line so that it's split up? One side of the point will have 7 parts, the other side of the point will have 3 parts. So the total line has 10 parts. So what we can do is we can think about, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's going to be H. So if we sit on this point here, we see that this side is going to have 7 parts, and this side is going to have 3 parts. If we add the whole of them together, it's 10 parts. So 7 in the ratio of 7:3 is just how you're splitting it up. So if you were to look at it to convert it into fractions, this is going to be 7/10, and then this side is going to be 3/10, and the whole thing is 10/10. Okay, so the second part then, so the answer to question 2 is going to be H. This is where you need to make your part. So I just want to minimize these so I can work with the rest of them. Okay, so that's that one. Okay, so the next one, 3 is to 7. So the whole is equal to 10 parts because we add the 3 and 7 together. And we have 3 out of 10 parts plus 7 out of 10 parts is equal to 10 out of 10 parts. So again, what we want to do is we want to find out where on the line can we split this line up into 2 parts. One which has 3/3 parts on one side and it has 7 parts on the other. So we can go 1, 2, 3. So if we draw a line here on D, we can see that on this side we have 1, 2, 3 parts. So we have the 3 parts, or 3/10. And then on this side we have the 7 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have the 7/10 parts, and the whole thing, if we add the 2 parts, the 2 sides together, you're going to have the full 10 out of 10 parts. So the answer to that is going to be D. So the answer to part 3 is D. Okay, so that's part 3. And the next one is then 4. So again, we have in the ratios 4 is to 1. So again, the whole is equal to 10. So we have 4/10 plus 1/10 is equal to 10/10. So again, what we're trying to say is let's get rid of this. So where on the line can we split it up so that we want to split it up in the ratio of 4 is to 1. So this is actually, the whole is going to be 5. So the whole will be 5 in this case. And the parts then will be, so it's going to be, so 4/5 plus 1/5 is equal to 5/5. So what we're saying is we want to split this up into, we want to split it up into 5 parts. So if we want to split it up into 5 parts, so each, so let's say, so this would be one part, this would be another part, this would be another part, this would be another part. So we're taking 2 instead of 1, and then this would be another part. So we have it split up into 5 parts. Okay, so we can see here that the whole is 5. So we've taken this whole line and we split it up so that we have 5 parts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And each part takes up 2 of the original bit segments, if you like. So what we're being asked to do then is we're being asked to split it again in the ratio. So where can we put a point? Let's say so that on one side you have 4 parts and on the other side you have 1 part. So we can just go 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we put a point here, so if we put our point here on between here, so this is it's I on the letter I, we can see here that on this side, so this is 1 part, this is 2 parts, 3, 4 and 5 parts. Okay, so we can see here that on this side we have 1 part or 1/5, and then on this side we have 4 parts or 4/5, and that's what we want. On this side we want four parts, and on this side we want 1 part. So the answer to this one is going to be, so 4 is equal to I. Okay, so we put it on part I, and then the final question then, we want to split it up so that we have 1:4. So we want to just reverse this. So let's just get rid of the numbers on the inside. Okay, so again, it's already split up into 4 parts. So what we want, into 5 parts should I say. So what we want to do is we just want to split it so that, so again, so this next part, let me just shrink this a little bit. Okay, so the next part then, so that was that question here. So the final part then is we want to split it up into 1:4. So again, so 1:4. So the whole is equal to 5 parts. So we split it up into 5 parts, and we want to put it in the ratio of, so we have 1/4 plus 4. Sorry, that should be 1/5. So 1/5 plus 4/5 is equal to 5/5. So what we're being asked to do is we're being asked, where can we place, like where can we put our line so that we divide it up into 1 part. One side has 1 part or 1/5, and then the other side has 4 parts or 4/5 of the whole. The whole thing is, we've split it up into 5 parts. So we see if we put our line here at C, if we put our point here at C, what we have is on this side we have 1 part, and then on this side we have the remaining 4 parts, and the 2 together is 5 parts. So our answer then to part 4 or part 5 is going to be if we put it at point C. Point C. Okay, so I think that is it. Okay, so that's it. So guys, that's how you do those questions. So again, it's just ratio. It's comparing like values as well. And look, I hope that this helps. And enjoy your holidays, and we will see you all when you're back in the 2 weeks. Okay, thanks guys.